I breast pressed the button then. Did I say breast press? The blinking brilliant start, isn't it? I had best press the button then.
That's a very difficult thing to say, Gemma.
All the words, just not necessarily in the right order this morning. And perhaps the odd rogue consonant. I can't say breast instead of best. Although breast is best, apparently.
Of course.
But, I'll get into loads of trouble. Good morning, hello, and welcome to Natasha Makes. She's not here today.
No.
It's us, isn't it?
Yeah, she's shenanigator.
I know, and I've made the beautiful discovery in the last 30 seconds that I chuckle with a snort that sounds a little bit like a snuffling pig. Which is wonderful. Just what we want. Yes, good morning and hello.
Good morning.
She's at Create and Craft, isn't she?
Yeah.
So she's left us here today, which is great. We can have so much fun. We have some absolutely beautiful things today, don't we, Jane?
We do, yes.
Got
Lovely.
to get Jane involved as well. And we've got all the beautiful things to show. So we've got a fabulous book, we've got some applique, we have some very new beautiful Lewis and Irene.
It's gorgeous.
All the gorgeous things.
There's
in
a
all
hairy
the world.
coo.
Yes. Yes, and we should say Highland Cattle, but my friend actually, her name's Lindsay, and she, when she retired, decided that she'd have a nice relaxing hobby. So she took on a load of Highland cattle and she rears Highland cattle and shows them. And the pandemic, she'd travel all around the country showing these beautiful cattle. And they're gorgeous.
They are lovely.
But since Meg's been little, she's always been, can we go and see Lindsay's big hairy cows? Yeah. So they are big hairy cows. They're not Highland cattle at all. I should probably load the show and just see, if anyone's here and actually watching us, Jane, and wants to say hello.
Well, that's a good idea.
It says live. That's always a good start.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, we'll have a go with that. How are you today anyway, Jane?
I'm really well, thank you. Yes, I am.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I'm pleased.
I'm still feeling a bit jet lagged after losing the hour.
It's knocked us all, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're all a bit.
Of us were like, yesterday.
I'm really tired.
And you are easily the nicest person in the world, Jane, that I know. And yet yesterday...
I was very grumpy.
You were not.
I sent myself to bed early last night because I was so grumpy.
You were terrible. But you were having all the technological problems. And I'm just pleased your laptop didn't end up in the bin.
Yeah, or through the window.
She wasn't a happy girl yesterday. You all struggling with the time change. I know it's pathetic, isn't it? 1 little hour, but we're all...
Yeah.
And what kind of cruel trick is that on Mothering Sunday?
I know, the one day when you're supposed to have a lie-in, they take an hour off you.
I got up at 5:30 and then went about 3 hours later. Oh, of course, that was actually feeling like 4:30, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah, no wonder I was a mess yesterday, but you were quite grumpy. It's a brilliant thing to behold when she does it because it's so rare. She's so placid and so lovely.
First time, I think, since I've been here nearly 2 years. So.
Yeah, you had a proper grump on.
I had a real strop on yesterday.
Oh, we have got people watching. Good morning, Rona and Heather. Your mum's watching. She says, morning, girls.
Morning, Mum.
I love that she calls us girls.
Yes.
Thanks, Kate. Oh, here we go. We've got Claire Angelina. Good morning, Gemma and Jane. What shenanigans will we have from the mice while the cat is away? And my mummy's watching too.
Oh,
we have got some shenanigans. We have. I'll talk about that in a minute, but yes. I did, had a little moment where I thought, what do I need in my life? And we've created it. It's quite exciting, really.
It is. There's some lovely things.
Yes. Oh, lots of good mornings. We have Adele and Margaret. Ready, steady, shenanigate. Good morning.
Good morning.
Becky says good morning, and Anne and Jane and Jenny. Oh, my mum says she's loving your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Loving your hair. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? She looks beautiful.
Yes.
Leslie Smith says, good morning, loving the Highland coo.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, who doesn't love a big hairy cow?
Look, I not. They're like teddy bears, aren't they?
They really are. And that's an absolutely beautiful panel by Lewis and Irene. We will take a look at that.
It's got those gorgeous colours.
Yes.
And if you had any, what was the series that they had before that looks...
Loch Lewis. Was probably a little bit darker, wasn't it? This
but
is
they blend
palette,
beautifully.
But they do, yeah. They've still got those gorgeous... we will talk. But yeah, lovely.
Yes, absolutely stunning fabrics.
We have another Margaret. Lots of people watching us this morning. Thanks. Pam says, while the cat's away. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. No one can believe you're getting angry ever. It was mostly with inanimate objects, especially technology, which I think is fair.
I was angry with myself because I couldn't get this to work the way I wanted it to.
You denied yourself a lunch
Oh, I was so cross.
A big tantrum.
I said, I'm so cross, I feel sick, I can't eat.
And then you took yourself to bed early. I mean, you parented
toddler.
yourself really well. So much fun. Oh, Auntie Lizzie Crangle's with us. Good morning, Gemma and Jane. Much love to all. Ah, it's nice that you're all with us. Thanks. And Shirley's with us too. Oh yeah, lovable big hairy cow. Love a big hairy cow. It's fabulous. Oh, Anne did something even earlier than me on Mothering Sunday. Had to get up at 4:15 to help at a running event, which really felt like 3:15.
What it was, really, wasn't it? Yes.
Dear me. Oh, hello from me in Ellesmere Port, says Christina. Lots of lovely people watching. Oh, and Heather's having a caravan sewing day.
Oh, nice.
Now, for those of you who don't know, I've got a little vintage caravan, and I do have a caravan make that I'm looking at the moment that we found in a book.
Yes, we did.
Jane found it and went, that one's for you, and I was like, oh! So yes, I've pilfered this, taken it away, and it might have to make an appearance at some point. Oh, Josh, thanks for putting the link in. I was about to start tapping quietly.
Yeah.
The link is in for all of the products that we're going to be showing you. That's
Wonderful,
very kind.
that's
That's one
good.
less thing to have to do. Ah, Auntie Lizzie rather likes the cushion as well. This one that nearly didn't come on the set.
Yes. Gemma made that, and she's done it beautifully, and she was like, no, we can't show it. I was like, yes, we can. We're going to pin it to a cushion that's slightly too small for the cover, but we'll do it.
Oh, Shirley says it sounded like I was calling her a lovable hairy cow. No. A few of us would fit that category some days, but no. We were just talking about that. I'm a beauty therapist by trade, so none of us should be hairy at all, but time does not always permit, does it, Jane? No.
Absolutely not.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, there's lots and lots and lots of love for the old hairy cow. We should probably have a look at that beautiful collection, really, Jane, shouldn't
Yes,
we? 'Cause
I think so.
it's important. So we have got a panel that's hanging just down the side there. That's 2 panels, so it cuts off in the middle, just here. It's a yard, isn't it, this one?
Yeah. This is the panel, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's
This
actually
is your
got this
cushion
beautiful bees
panel.
and thistles on it as
Let's
well.
hold it up.
There we go, look.
The beautiful thing about this collection is it's just this most gorgeous palette. They've gone for this really lovely, and I love thistles anyway.
Yes.
I really do. They've gone for this absolutely beautiful soft palette. Isn't it gorgeous?
It's lovely. And of course you could make two cushions backing them, or you could make 4.
I'd
because
go
you've got
for
the
4 with a plain
fronts,
back.
Yeah, with a plain.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the beautiful bumbleberries that coordinate, or some of the collection, which would look beautiful on the back as well.
I mean, there's nothing to stop you using these as centres to lap quilts as well, is there? And, you know, using that and building your blocks around
build your
it.
blocks around, yeah.
And we have got, obviously, you know, fabrics that go with, but bumbleberries that go with too. So you're saying about deals and things today. We have this panel up. I have loaded a bumbleberries fat quarter bundle of the bumbleberries that go with. Should we have a look at those bumbleberries?
Let's have a look at them because they are gorgeous.
They are just stunning. In fact, I'm going to go into overhead briefly as well while Jane shimmies those around, she says.
Let's move these out.
So we can have a look at the panel at the same time as well. Let's switch that over. It would help if the switch button worked, wouldn't it? There we go. So we can have a look at these panels next to the bumbleberries.
Now this one's called Country Grey, but actually it's got quite a nice blue tone to it.
And it's lovely and soft, isn't it?
So it does go fantastically
Yeah, it
with the
does, 'cause you've got
blues
this
in
blue
there.
here. Yeah, really lovely.
And then we've got Eggshell Blue, which is paler and looks stunning with it. Then we've got Thistle, which of course matches the mauves in there wonderfully. And this is Muted Thistle.
Yes.
So that's got a lovely colour tone to it. And then we've got this Biscotti, which of course is a beautiful neutral that blends beautifully with the teasel heads on that one there.
I mean, I'm a massive bumbleberries fan anyway, which I think most people know. In fact, we launched them all cut to order, didn't we, on one of the shows that we did together.
I mean, those 2 thistles together,
they're
look at
just,
those, they make a beautiful
you've got
borders.
thistle and muted thistle. They're just, there we go, let's move those across so we can see. My nails are a terrible clash with these today. I did not need to be an orange, did I? But those are just gorgeous. Let's have a look at the other side of the panel while we've got these out, because I think...
Oh, with the coos.
Yes. Our friend, the big hairy coo. Where is he? There he is. Or she. Let's be fair.
Well, she's got a thistle in her hair, so I think maybe she's a lady cube.
Aren't these divine?
They look
Absolutely
gorgeous.
beautiful. Just gorgeous. I'm I'm
Get the
rather
rest of
taken with these. I'm taken with them on the colour, but also, the thistles and cows, you can't go far wrong with those.
And then if you like that hexagon effect, look at these. Aren't they beautiful?
They are absolutely stunning. Now these immediately grabbed my eye because I love a bit of EPP.
Yeah, they
So I
lend themselves
spotted
beautifully,
these.
don't they? You could either use them as they are, or then you can fussy cut them.
Or if you have any scrap, to be able to put your hexagon behind and work with them. I mean, they're just fab, aren't they? I'm really in love with these. I think they're stunning. And they'd make a really beautiful border on a quilt as well, wouldn't they? If you were centering one of these big panels and then working some other blocks in, you could use these for sashes and borders, and just lovely.
You've got the bees on the thistle and the teasel heads there. On the thistle there, you've got the Highland cow. There's a stag head. You can see that on there. There's a stag heads there.
Should we go into close up, see if we can see any of that?
Lovely Celtic knots.
Let's have a little peep. Little peep. There we go. Look at those.
Aren't they lovely?
And then there's this textured effect to the background as well.
Yes.
It's got that kind of, linen effect texture, hasn't it, to it? It's
so you've got that on the lovely heather colour, I suppose you'd call it, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Purple.
absolutely
Purple.
gorgeous. Yeah, I think they call them light lavender and dark lavender in this collection, but I'm with you on the
heather. And then this
heather.
lovely sort of duck eggy blue, which is lovely and soft. Gives
Auntie
a
Lizzie
different
says
effect.
she loves hexies. She must have been a bee in a former life. I always say it's about Jane. Jane loves bees. So here we are with this lovely collection.
Look at that one with this lovely linen, the soft like linen effect.
This to me is like a hybrid of two of our favourite collections, because we loved the Loch Lewis and we loved the Queen Bee, didn't we?
Yes.
And there's this beautiful softness to this one that really comes from that Queen Bee collection.
Absolutely.
And then you've got that absolutely gorgeous.
And then we've got these beautiful
Here we
ones
come.
here. There's a lovely sort of hexagon-y theme going on, but there's lovely thistles. And I love Lewis and Irene. I love their floral collections. If we go close up on this one,
of
Jem,
course
this
you can.
is so pretty. I don't know if it's, there it is.
There we are.
Look at that. And you've got the little bees on there as well. Beautiful colours. That's the, I think that's the duck egg on blue, that one.
Beautiful.
And then we've got this hexagon theme going. This is Celtic Dreams and dark lavender, Celtic knots on dark lavender. And there's just like the Celtic knot pattern inside the hexagon. It's a beautiful tone on tone fabric, which will make lovely borders.
And that's in 3 different colours as
yes,
well, isn't
we've
it?
got that
Really lovely.
in the dark lavender.
Yeah.
Is this light lavender? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. This is quite a pinky grey tone. I called it light lavender. And of course you've got the thistles with the bees that coordinates with that. But if you put that with the dark lavender, look how that makes the thistle pop in there.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, the way the colours work together. And then we've got it on the, is it linen effect, linen colour? What's the colour called,
It's
Jem?
natural.
Natural.
No,
Dark
dark cream.
cream.
There's cream and there's dark cream in this collection. I always think that Lewis and Irene do a beautiful job, not only of their artwork, but of their colour. And you just can mix and match these collections safely.
They do work so well together.
I am a big Lewis and Irene fan. It's there's always a small shriek when their collections arrive, and I go galloping through the warehouse.
Yes, they're like,
to the box.
It's here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely lovely colours, beautiful fabrics,
They
beautiful
really are.
design, lovely artwork.
They really are.
Classic.
And, again, you can work all of these around the panels as well. They're just so gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Just so gorgeous.
And then we've got the thistle theme carrying on, haven't we? This fabric's slightly different. It's got thistles and bees on it again. But if we look at it in an overall effect, it's got sort of a diamondy effect
this is your
going
mirrored
on.
bee. So it's got that symmetry to it, hasn't it? I mean,
Can you
look
imagine
at
a
that.
bag front with that?
They're just good. They're just beautiful.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Just beautiful. And because I love Lewis and Irene so much, we've got these available as a full collection.
Yes, we love a full
nice
collection.
Cheeky discount on them.
That's light duck egg, that colourway. And then you've got the tonal fabric here. This is mono thistle on light blue. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
That's really pretty. It's got a lovely tone on tone, soft. You've got your Celtic knots in there and the thistle pattern. Really pretty.
Really stunning.
And then we've got the mirrored bee on light purple, that one's called. Thought it might have been
Jane,
lavender.
Sorry, on what?
Purple. Mustn't do that because there's people watching.
No, but we love accents, don't we?
Do.
We absolutely love accents. And whenever Jane and I get to meet anyone from anywhere with an accent, we just love it, because I'm a massive linguist anyway. I love to listen to people speak foreign languages or people with accents, but I adore it. Absolutely adore it.
Together.
So we do catch accents here and there, don't we?
And
or
there's just some words that when you say
some words
them,
are better
they're
in
better
another accent.
in an accent.
So we do a purple in a different accent because it is better. It's just better.
When we say 5, we say it 5, as in
Five.
like Birmingham. 5. I'll give you 5.
Certain words sound better in another accent.
Look at that.
Sure.
That's so rich.
Isn't it?
That is mirrored bee on dark blue. Now it's a purpley blue, isn't it?
It
really is a lovely, soft.
I think it's bluer than the camera is lending it, but it's pulling that purple tone for you so that you can see it's a warm blue, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not,
And they, as we say,
lovely.
they all work together beautifully. We put that with that because it's got the Celtic knots there, matching with that lovely colour there.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, and yes. All the yeses.
All the yeses. All the yeses.
Margaret's giving us some Highland cattle related information. She says Highland cattle were originally all black, but are now most commonly that lovely rich red.
Yes.
As seen in white. Also seen in white. The white calves are just hang on, where are we? The white calves are just the cutest thing. Oh yeah, can you imagine?
Absolutely.
Love to see a white calf. Yellow and brindle, which is like an old-fashioned tortoiseshell cat. No patches. There is also a beige called dun. The Breed Society says, crikey, she knows her stuff. The Breed Society says, I do hate it when the screen jumps. Here we go. In general, a good herd should have a mixture of colours, which is odd because my late brother-in-law said it was a fold, never a herd. There we go. And apparently that is a cow on there.
Yes.
Because the horns are coming up. A bull's horns should go out wide before coming forward. There we go.
There you are.
Makes sense.
You are educated now on Highland coos.
There are certain words that we should embrace in other accents and languages, Jane, and there are some words that we should not. Claire Angelina's just given us the heads up not to look up the word for adult seal in French, and definitely don't say it out loud because we might get banned from the Book of Faces. Always helpful, Claire. Thank you very much.
You.
That's not a word I know in French, so I'm not tempted to blurt it out because I do think I've got, it's a processing issue, so I have to just say things every now and again. Normally when Natasha's talking and she's, trying to remember a word, I have to just blurt out whatever I think it is because my processing just, out it comes. So I'm really glad I don't know that word.
No, because
I might have been tempted to just go, yes, and then get us banned. And that would have been the shortest Natasha Makes show ever. We'd have got into loads of trouble.
We wouldn't be able to show you anything. Apart from the Lewis and Irene fabric.
Absolutely. So yes, the Lewis and Irene fabric, you've got the panels, they're a pre-cut yard. You have got all of these fabrics available cut to order by the half metre. You do have a 15-piece complete collection as well, under £100.
Wow.
I know, 15 half metres. They don't include the panel, so that's just your 15 cut to order fabrics that you've just seen. But then you also have the 5 bumbleberries, which aren't the collection, but they're Lewis and Irene's recommended blenders, and they've been put together separately in a fat quarter bundle. Now, there is a little discount on those as well. If you did want half metres of all 5, just add 2 to basket. We'll make sure we cut those as continuous.
Any yet, so we'll cut them as continuous.
We'll cut them as continuous, unless you put a note on your order to say you don't want them as continuous. There we go.
Lovely.
Have we actually said all the things properly?
I think so.
Aren't we good girls? Bravo, Jane. Very good. The book.
We'll come off air and we'll go, oh said.
Oh, I know. Well, they've forgotten something important,
Absolutely.
won't we?
Yes.
We like a book, don't we, Jane?
I love a book.
And a few weeks ago, you might recall, Natasha went to a trade show, and I presented that one then as well. And
Yeah. Well, we went
What did we
before,
do?
didn't we?
Yeah, we went on the Sunday. She went on the Monday.
Yeah.
While we were there, we saw our book supplier, didn't we?
Yes.
And we gave him a very large list of books. Well, this one, this one, this one. You and I both did a little when we saw this one,
Yes.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Now, thank you for spotting the one in the background. That's a bit of a budget job insofar as
Don't listen
these
to
are
Gemma.
no,
Don't
but
listen
budget
to
job
Gemma.
insofar as it's not a finished cushion. It's
No,
just a
it's
front.
the front.
And these are bench pillows. So this morning I was just going to have it out flat and show you, and Jane said, let's put it round the pillow. The finished makes in these books, they're longer, aren't they?
Yes, they're bench pillows, so they're ideal for the backs of sofas or your garden
bench,
furniture.
yeah.
Garden bench outside. So they're really lovely, and it's bench pillows for all seasons. So we've got.
I have a bench in my kitchen, actually, Jane.
Yeah,
You know, we've
that's
got
what some
chairs
people
round three
have,
sides
yeah,
of the
haven't
table.
they? And then a bench at the
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. But also, you know, another thing these are great for on the bed.
Yeah.
They're a lovely long cushion, but for all seasons, like you say.
You've
so
got all
we
the
have-
templates there. I mean, it is an American book,
Yeah.
so it follows the American seasons.
Yeah.
We've got wintry friends. Look at those snowmen. Aren't they cute? They've
Shall
got
I
little
turn
bow
to
ties.
close up?
Yeah,
Or shall I
let's
bring
do
it,
that.
bring it here, actually? Let's bring
do
it
it
overhead.
overhead.
Oh, I would. Well, that's good, isn't it? What's it done there?
You've got to log in.
Well, you know.
Let's
Talk
carry
amongst
on.
yourselves.
You've got snowmen there, and they've got little 3D bow ties with the snowflakes.
It's taken me to a completely different website.
Wonderful.
I know. It's
Then
so
we've
much
got
fun. Here we go.
Love is in the air.
We can overhead. There we are.
Now.
Now you watch. There it
we
is.
go.
Flawless, Jane. Seamless.
Nobody noticed.
No. Should we have a little peep at that first one just in case anyone didn't see it well?
Yeah, look at him.
We just love
They're
him.
lovely. And they've got little 3D bow ties.
This doesn't just sort of throw you in either and say
No,
make
she's
things.
very-
There's a load of technique, isn't there?
Yeah. Chris Malone, beautiful general instructions about the assembly and everything like that. How to use raw fused edged applique, which is what most of the applique is. It's a combination of applique and piecing.
Yeah.
We've got Winter Friends. In the back, she's got a lovely section on the quilting basics and doing your binding. So there's a little bit there as well. So it's lovely. And these are part of the Annie's Quilting Collection book. So they're always lovely and clear instructions.
They're very inexpensive as well, aren't they?
Yes.
They're really low cost.
Yeah.
This book, let me just double check because I know the price, Jane, but I
I'm
had
sure
to
you
correct
said
it again.
£8.99.
It is $8.99.
Yeah.
And you know, for a lot of patterns, single patterns, you'll pay more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, and you get a whole book here, and there's 12, aren't there? Is there 12?
Yes, 12
sure
patterns,
it's 12.
yeah. So
Plus
you've
the
got
technique.
Love is in the air. These little cute bird houses.
They're lovely, aren't they?
There's elements in here that you could just, if you didn't want a long bench cushion,
Yeah.
you could take elements like that element there and just make an ordinary square
you could.
cushion.
Or
you
use
know,
it in the
adapt
quilt.
it in the middle of a quilt,
Wall
centre
hanging,
block,
yeah.
placemats. You know, you could do the snowman block there on the side of a piece,
Oh.
you know, a plain piece for your Christmas table. They're easily adaptable. Got April is blowing in. That's got wellies and umbrellas. That's a really cute one. I love those spotty wellies. We've got, now this is May is for mothers, because of course in America Mother's Day is in May and doesn't follow the church calendar like we have Mothering Sunday. So May is for mothers, and then we've got Be Happy for June with these lovely blooms. Gemma and I didn't like the worms, did we? We were like, oh, don't like the worms.
I wouldn't do the worms. The
No,
worms would
we'd
not
leave the
feature.
worms out.
I'm not a
that's,
fan,
you know,
Jane.
that's just us. And then, as I say, it is American, but we have people. We have family and friends that live overseas. So
Yes,
obviously,
I do.
July is their 4th of July celebration, and that's very much based on the American flag. But again, you could adapt that to colours that aren't
Yeah.
so American flag, or you might like the red, white, and blue,
Yeah.
and like to do that. It's good fun. You've got an idea there, look in that picture, about how they see their bench pillows. They've got
Yes.
it there on a garden bench.
Fabulous for a garden bench.
Beautiful. And then we've got this lovely sunflower patch for September. Oh, I've missed out the boat one.
You've missed my boat.
August.
Smooth
August,
sailing.
because we go to the beach, don't we, in August? So it's sailing on the sea, and there's these gorgeous fishes, which is the one Gem's made.
Oh, started to make.
It's a begin. Because,
work in progress.
you know, as with all applique, it's straightforward, but
Yes.
there's lots of elements in that one. So there's a lot of work, and if you decide to buttonhole stitch around it, or blanket stitch, whichever you want to use the word.
Which we have. I don't think that's really shown on the camera, but there's a blanket stitch going on.
Yeah.
On these pieces. All of these.
Beautiful.
And then, you know, you've got little things like, there's some French knots, aren't there, for the eyes,
Yeah.
or you could use a bead for the eyes. So you've got options, but
We've got
loads
We've
of
got beads, haven't we, that we can...
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful smooth sailing. And September, it's got this really lovely scarecrow and sunflowers. So, you know, again, you could adapt the sunflowers to make cushions, to raise money for the Ukraine appeal. All of that element's going on. You don't have to do the whole element of the cushion, you know, you can take elements from it. We've got Halloween fun.
And these are so adaptable. You could make little bag fronts for trick or treat bags. You could do.
You can see this is broken into
this.
3 elements there.
Yes.
So that would make, you know, a bag front like Gemma says, or a cushion front, and it's got eek on the applique there.
And all of these templates are here. You know, we'll show you that in a moment.
They're all full size as well,
Yeah.
so there's no having to worry about sizing it up or anything like that.
This is one of my favourites, and the reason being, Jane, is I would use the templates within this to make several different seasons worth of cushions, because
Yes,
you've got your
you've
lovely
got
leaves
autumn
for your
leaves.
autumnal
Yeah.
makes, and again the pumpkin, which for me I'd prefer this kind of traditional pumpkin rather than the jack-o'-lantern style.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
And again, I like these for my autumn make.
Yeah.
And Mr. Turkey, he could probably just stay in the book for me. But
Yes, I was going to say,
for Thanksgiving,
we know that it's Thanksgiving for the Americans, so again, you may want to make a Thanksgiving cushion for families or friends, you know, that you have.
I've got American friends in this country as well. Who It'd be really nice for them to have a little something.
Absolutely.
That would be really lovely.
And again, this is broken down into elements, so it would make 3 beautiful cushions, bag front. And then finally, you've got December's Christmas wishes. Look at that.
Absolutely adore this one.
That's such good fun. And there's little buttons added there for Rudolph's
The candles
nose.
are gorgeous in themselves. I like the holly, and those little small elements could come into so many different projects.
This could be a table runner in the middle of your Christmas table, couldn't it? You know, you don't have to make it into a bench pillow.
No.
But equally, there's elements there that would make a beautiful Christmas cushion.
Yeah.
You could make little coasters just using the bauble patterns.
Or little gift bags. And,
Absolutely.
you know, Natasha's got her, you know, different gift bags and baskets that she's done. In fact, what I've done today is I've put some of the patterns that we've had recently that are Easter makes and things like that. And actually you're beautiful, because we're doing applique as well.
Yes.
Your beautiful Easter bunny.
Yes, the
applique.
bunny basket, definitely.
We put his instructions up as well, because all of those makes, they're all linked to what we're doing today.
Absolutely.
But
bit
some
of
these
piecing and a
smaller
bit of applique.
pieces,
Yeah.
you could add those elements onto either the Easter baskets that Natasha's designed recently, the little bags, you know, there's all sorts of things you could do with these, aren't there? Be
You've
really,
got
really
all
lovely.
of your, there's 2 great big
huge sheets
of the applique patterns. They're reversed for you, so you don't have to worry about that. They're all full size.
Yes, I fell foul of that. I was thinking, I've got to reverse these, and then no, they've done it for us, which is very
They're all
considerate.
labelled, so they're labelled like this is the smooth sailing, this is the sail. You've got down here some flower patch, that's the scarecrow's face. These are the sunflowers. You've got your turkey trot, your oak leaf there, your Halloween
think that would make
letters.
an amazing quilt border, that oak leaf.
Absolutely,
Wouldn't it be
beautiful,
lovely?
absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I'm going to
And
hold
then-
these out for a second, actually. Have them here.
And then you've got your Wellingtons, so they're a good, they're a good size. We measured these, didn't we? And we've got
We did.
sort of 7 inches.
Yeah,
So
they're about the ones that you'd want to have a patterned fabric is about 7-inch square, isn't it, Jane? And when I saw this book, I looked through. I saw the one with the Wellingtons, and I was like, "Oh, Liberty Wellingtons would be amazing." And then, obviously, the cushion that I've done, I said Liberty Fish would be amazing. And it struck me that for quite a lot of these makes, you'd want to have lots of different bits of Liberty. You wouldn't need a lot of each one, but to have a bit of each Liberty from us, certainly, you're buying a half metre. You know, some other retailers might sell by the quarter metre, they might, cut to order, but even
absolutely.
then, to buy, you know, 20 plus fabrics, for example, at a quarter metre a time, that's a big cost just for bits in your stash
Absolutely,
for
yeah.
applique projects. So that's where this came from, wasn't it, Jane?
Yes. Gemma and I went through the Liberty fabrics and we chose the smaller prints and the tone on tones, and we've cut, well, they're actually 7.5 by 7, aren't they?
We've said they're 7-inch square, but we're quite generous here, aren't we?
Yeah.
They're 7.5-ish.
The way we worked it, they were sort of 7.5, but you've got all the lovely little ditzy prints, the tone on tones. You're going to have more than enough to do some of the elements that you want to do here.
And the size that they are as well, if I can just grab one square, Jane.
Yeah.
You know, we've made sure that you can get things like that great big umbrella in. Let me just see if I can go over here, because the puddle here, that's going to be plain blue. You'd never need anything, you know, because that's double.
Yeah.
But this is probably one of the largest pieces here. You'd get your umbrella out of that, not a problem. Again, the bird, the snowflake, well, you'd probably use white for that. Right down to the nest even, if you wanted, you know, you've got...
There's some elements that you might need 2 pieces. You might just get your 2 Wellingtons out of the... Because you can just see it comes there, so you could twist the other one round and get it in the other way. So, yeah.
But the idea behind these was...
And I mean, this one here is ideal for fish.
Oh, I know. Well, this is
That'd
the
make
thing,
fish
isn't it?
scales, wouldn't it, that one?
Let's get... Actually, do you know, let's go close up and we can have a little peep at that fabric. She says, if I can get the button
They're
to
all
work,
quilting weight
there we are.
cotton with the classic Liberty prints. So you've got some really lovely...
Most beautiful quality as well as a result.
Absolutely stunning fabrics in here. There's a lovely selection of colours, as we say, like some tone on tones here. Look at that lovely ditzy little daisy one. And a nice 7-inch square is probably, you know, just right size. If you don't want to use it for applique, you could use it for your EPP.
Absolutely.
You know, we love a little bit of Liberty EPP, I think. There's some gorgeous prints here. There's a real classic Liberty style print there. Look, that to me, that is
Liberty, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we all think of when we think of Liberty, I think. So yeah, there's a lovely selection, nice selection of colours.
Really beautiful selection
which
of
will
colours.
work beautifully for your applique projects or EPP, or, you know, you could just sew them all together into squares and make a nice little throw.
Absolutely. You know, we've put this bundle together, and ordinarily, because it's quite time consuming, you know, very neatly laying these out and cutting these up, quite often there would be a premium for a bundle cut like this, but she's not here. So we've done this on a really fabulous deal. It's an introductory deal. She might come back later / tomorrow and go, pardon?
I don't think so. We're trying to bankrupt twice. You might get a bit of selvage on some of them, but look, that's got the Liberty on it.
Yeah, but
so
you'd use that for something
we've
marvellous.
used Liberty selvage, haven't we?
Amazing. Always. There's always salvage makes. So yeah, those bundles, you get 24 squares of Liberty. And that's a lot in there, isn't there?
It is.
£9.99.
Pardon?
£9.99. I'm going to get into so much trouble. So buy them quick and enjoy them.
Just buy them and then she can't sack us.
It's one of those, they'll be gone, she won't know. So it was one of those moments where, like I say, I thought, what I really need is this. And so I made it, which is great. And the fabrics will vary slightly, but they will all be fabrics that Jane and I have looked at and gone, oh, be cracking for applique.
Yeah. We've done,
so yes.
We've done what we can with what we've got, because we haven't got much Liberty left, have we?
No,
and some
we
of
haven't.
them
We really haven't.
The last little bits.
As far as this cushion goes, what I've used here are the Wiltshire Shadows, which we have in the lake blue, and then, was it the cloud? I think it was.
Oh, is it cloud or smoke? I think
No,
that's cloud, isn't
and there's
it?
Arctic. I think it's cloud.
Yeah.
Yes. And then there's just a linen texture here that we've got, but, you know, little scrappy bits out of the scraps.
You know, if you've had one of Natasha's scrap bags, there's bound to be some bits in there that will
Amazing
work
bits.
wonderfully for it.
Yes. And just some plain white here would be perfect. We had a little shortage of plain white, so my little waves look slightly more murky than they would have done if I'd have put some beautiful
They've got
fresh
sea
white
foam
in.
on them.
They
Sea foam.
just look a little bit murkier, yes. But Jane, you're going to make a different one.
Yes, I'm going to demonstrate the May is for Mothers because it's very spring-like and it's so fresh and lovely. So the little birds with her chicks in the branch with the blossom. There's a few techniques in there that we may not have demonstrated before, so I thought we'd have a look at those. We've done a bundle because we like a bundle, don't we, Jem?
We do.
So we've got, is it 8? Yeah, 8 fat eighths. 16ths, yeah, 16ths. So it's slightly bigger than a 10-inch square, sort of. So you've got 8 colours there, gorgeous, which are all the colours that correspond with the fabrics in here. But again, you know, that's a lovely bundle of colours. You've got some batiks in there, some linen texture, and a couple of a plain.
One bit of plain,
one bit of plain that we thought was just went right for the inside of the nest. Then we've got a fat eighth of the brown, just because you need that little bit longer for the branch.
And now, you have loads left over.
You're going to have, of all of these, I think the one that uses nearly all the fabric is the leaves. But other than that, you'd have enough to make it all over again. You've got a 1/2 metre piece of our linen texturing cream for the centre. She's used a spotty fabric, but we didn't have anything that really suited, so we went with the lovely linen texture cream. And then we've got a bit of Liberty.
We have.
For the border, which is just stunning.
We got posh, didn't we, Jane?
Yeah. But those colours there,
it's going to
complement it beautifully. I don't know if you want to go overhead and show that, Jem.
Of course we can. She says.
Close up.
Oh yeah, close up overhead.
There we go.
Whichever.
There we are. So you've got the nest, the inside of the nest, 2 colours for the leaves, the dark pink for the bird, and then you've got the pale yellow and the pale pink for the blossom, and then this lovely light, bright primary yellow, which is a salt batik for the beaks, which you really are going to need a minimum amount. Are you okay?
Yes.
Gemma's just choking in the corner.
Just have a mic off to cough, sorry.
You've still been left, haven't you, with this horrible cough after having COVID.
Poor Sarah Payne yesterday. The second we went, bye, 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 and then we were like, you're clear. She just went,
oh.
God love her. Yeah, post-COVID cough.
And then that lovely batik for the branch there. So you've got all the colours you need to make the May is for Mothers cushion. But you could use them for something else.
I just think this is a lovely cushion to have on your garden bench.
Absolutely.
And that was both
it's
of us
very spring-like and fresh.
I know they're saying it's a Mother's Day type make because there's 2 little chicks and a mother bird, but that was, quite a, it was a link, but it wasn't a screaming, oh, this is day. It's not like it says mum straight across the middle. It was very much something that we thought would just look gorgeous in your garden. So yes. Oh, Isabel says, oops, a gorgeous panel and a few coordinating metres of fabric popped into the basket at checkout. Good girl. Good girl.
It's got to be done.
I mean, to be fair, yesterday when I said to Inga, could you cut some of the panels up for me? Just leave a couple joined so we've got, something to hang, but cut the rest up. Oh, yes, I have to say about those. And what did she say? No, these are coming home with me for my cottage.
She said they're going to have the whole bolt. And we were like,
no, you can't
40
have it.
cushions.
You can't have it.
She's going to go to a tiny cottage.
But a tiny cottage. We're really lucky they've ended up on the show. Elizabeth Crangle says, I'm thinking another cathedral window, Jane, with that bundle.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful and fresh
gorgeous,
looking. It would be gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Oh, dear.
Absolutely.
Amanda says, oh, here we go. Actually, that's a very good point. Thank you all for reminding me what I have to do. She says, thank you for sourcing my order yesterday to include my free fabric. You're very welcome. Love yesterday's quilt. Can't wait for it to arrive. For those of you who want to make use of the free 1/2 metre, SJ will be listening now, and if she's taken it down, she'll go, I don't think she has.
No, I'm sure she wouldn't.
So we've been running a promotion, and you've quite liked this one, it would seem. So assuming you're spending £50 or more on other items, when your basket spend gets to 50, that's before your postage. So, you need to buy £50 worth of items. Oh, this is so cute. Anyway, assuming you've got £50 worth of goods in your basket, which, is easy done today with a £99.99 bundle available.
Absolutely.
Or all these beautiful wares. Once you get to £50 spend, remember to just type in mystery half metre and it'll come up with a product, mystery half metre, and you need to just add that in. It'll show us
select it
$7.95.
like you're selecting a product, don't you?
Literally add it to your basket and it will add $7.95 to your basket. Don't panic. When you get to checkout, just pop the code, all capital letters, all one word, free half metre. And you'll watch that $7.95 go bing and disappear. If you're having a tiss and you're struggling and you can't quite work it out, there's a notes section on your order. Pop a note in there. Myself, Jane, SJ, one of us will spot it and we'll fix it for you. But you do need to make sure that the value of your basket before that half metre goes in is £50 or more, because that's one of the main reasons why it's not working for some people. Yes. They can't work out why. It's normally that you've just not quite spent 50. It doesn't include your postage,
it's just your products.
You need to make sure you've done that.
If they spent over 100, would they be able to choose it twice?
I don't know.
There's always somebody,
You're
isn't
so
there? There's always one,
crafty
isn't there?
As a cartload of monkeys you are. But we're trying to vary the half metres so that we, because some of you order regularly, it's more than one day. So, we can't promise you'll get a different one.
We're trying to blend it with what you've ordered as well. So, if we can find something that goes with, looks similar to, we put that in. So it makes it nice.
Free half metre of fabric worth $7.95. Yeah. So,
designer fabric.
Very nice. Yeah, it's designer fabric, and it's our premium designer fabric at $7.95.
Yes, we're talking moders and tildes.
We're talking Cafe as well.
Cafe, yeah.
We've just put some Cafe into the mix as well today.
Yeah.
Jane,
Nice.
Lovely. I know. Something else we didn't mention, actually, I'm going to quickly show, because I'm going to go into overhead. I'm going to go overhead to show you this because it's too gorgeous. Now I'll just wave it in front for a second, because look at this. Oh, Jane, I'm in love. It's so beautiful. Yes, we do have some little Easter treats here and there, and there's this beautiful bunny trim. I don't have many of these. This would be brilliant just to go around the edge of a bag or a little basket, Easter basket. Yeah. And you get, here we go, I think it's 2 metres. Yeah, 2 metres of bunny trim. So that's just something to bear in mind. That's in today's collection as well. But Jane, look at this cushion already.
I know.
There's no stitching on it yet.
No stitching on it yet.
Gorgeous.
So it's a combination of applique, and I've used the steamer seam, so it's slightly tacky once you've taken the papers off. So this hasn't actually been ironed down. I've just placed it in place. I drew round and cut out the chicks with their little beaks, and I've put them on. The mama bird here is ready to be taken off and sealed. She's very clear in her instructions. She wants you to put the branch 7.5 inches up from the edge of the background fabric so that you've got it running more or less through the middle of the cushion. Fabulous. I've used steamer seam. We've got Bonder web as well. As I say, they're already reversed for you. So it is literally a case of placing your adhesive sheet over whichever shape. There's a lovely tulip there, look. And tracing it over. Then taking one of the paper sides off. On the Bonder web, you don't need to take off one. It's already, so it's the rough side on the Bonder web. Yeah.
You
place that on the reverse of your fabric, iron it down, and then you'll cut around your shape.
Lovely. On
the drawn line that you've done, and then you take the other side off, and then that's ready to bond onto your fabric. I'm just going to do this quickly just to show how it works. You can get, these are quite big pieces, so that the backing comes off quite easily, but if you're struggling to get the backing off, the lady that's made this is
Chris Malone.
Chris Malone.
Yeah.
She says to have the just looking for the ruler, Jam.
What are you looking for?
Ruler.
What for?
Just to do some measure. Any ruler will do.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be big. Natasha's taken everything with her.
She really has taken everything with her. There's one there that's inches. Oh, it's a great big one on the floor. I have got a question actually from a viewer, so I'll just answer that one, which is the finished pillow size, and I have put it on the book, on the book product page. But each cover in this book is designed to fit a 38 by 16 inch cushion, so your bench pillow. So yeah, it's 38 by 16.
So 2 inches away from the nest, Chris says, so I'm just going to pop that wing there so that I know where I am. I'm going to take the backing of the main body of the bird off. This is the beauty of steamer seam, is it's tacky. Once you've taken the backing off, this is tacky. So it means you can reposition. So if you're not happy with where you've placed it, you can take it off and reposition it before you iron it down.
I love that about steamer seam.
Which is really handy, because sometimes when you take your applique from your work table over to your ironing board, and it can move.
Floats up onto the floor.
Wafts away, and you're just like, I've just got that in the right place.
And it's
so
a really...
the other wing. I'm just using the illustration as a guide.
There's beautiful illustrations in this book as well.
They are
really
lovely.
Clear.
And it's quite easy to follow the illustration. I'm just going to move that.
Yeah, and she's got her figures drawn out, hasn't she?
Yes.
They're sort of, they outline each piece in black,
and the
so that you can
instructions
see.
tell you more or less where to put everything. And as I say, she says 7.5 inches up from the bottom corner before you start resting the branch down, and then lining that through.
Cass says, I've been very good and not bought fabric for 2 whole weeks. Please put the Liberty away. I mean, I'll have to perhaps when Tash gets back, but Cass, it's only the price of like a coffee and a cake.
Yeah, can you really?
And
the thing is, can you afford to miss it?
Think of all the amazing applique projects.
Can you afford to miss it? So that was the bonded applique side of things. So once you've got that bonded down, and you would iron that then, and you can then sew with a blanket stitch or straight stitch, whichever you prefer, and you could do it by hand or on your machine, whichever you like doing. And then the leaf element and the blossom are done in a 3D padded applique and yo-yos, they call them in America. We call them suffolk puffs. So I'm just going to show you how those were created. So these are my leaves. Gaynor helped me with these this morning, turning them through for me. So we've got our leaves.
Technique, this, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
3D
you can see how much of each of the fabrics I've got left over. I mean, obviously the bird beak, there's hardly any of that was used. You know, about half for the chicks and the mama bird. And then
tiny chip out the corner for that.
That's the main nest. This was the branches from the fat eighth. Really, we did a fat eighth because of the length of the branch. That's the pale pink blossom and the leaves. Now, as I say, the leaf fabric is probably the one that you will probably use all of it. But the rest of it, you've got plenty left over to do what you need. Now, I traced the shapes off onto template plastic for the leaves and for the yo-yo suffolk puff. I think we'll call it suffolk puffs because we're in the UK. So I traced those off onto template plastic, which we have lots of. And then you take your leaf fabric. I'm just going to cut. This is a piece of our polyester wadding, and I thought those off-cut squares that we've got would be very useful for this.
Really useful.
Absolutely fantastic.
See if we can make sure those are waving around. Otherwise, everyone will say, "What polyester wadding? Where are those then?" I think we've got a few, but let's see.
I'm just tracing around the shape. I'm using my iron-off pen.
We do try and put everything in one place for you so you can find it.
And you can see I've put the fabric right sides together. You might just want to make sure that you'll want to give yourself a 1/4 inch seam, but by folding that up there, that's given me a 1/4 inch. You put them right sides together. Now what you'll do on that top one, we're just going to snip into it and make an incision, and this will all become clear as we go through. So I've got that right sides together, I've drawn around the shape, and I've made an incision in that top one, just in the top layer, not the bottom layer, just the top one. And then I'm going to layer that up with a piece of wadding, and then I'm going to sew around the line on the line that I've just drawn. Now you might want to put your walking foot on, but I don't. This is just the ordinary presser foot, and it worked fine. The fabric didn't want to move anywhere, so that was okay. But if you've got a walking foot or the even feed foot on your machine, then you can just drop that down, and that makes life easier. So I've sewn around that shape. We've got our cut element there. I'm going to trim around approximately 1/4 inch around the edge where I've sewn. You might want to just trim square across there just to reduce the bulk at the points. And do the same there, not too close to the stitching, just there. And then I'm going to just trim that wadding away up to the line of stitching. Just to reduce the bulk in the seam.
It's a lovely mindful makes, aren't they?
Yeah, there's some elements in this that you can really have fun with. And it's a skill building book as well, really. You know, you're doing your bonded applique, and then there's some other elements. There's the patchwork. There's making the little bow ties for the snowman. There's some embroidery stitching, you know, just very basic embroidery like your French knots
and
button stitch and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's not many projects where you can actually allow your kids to get involved as well, you know. And when little Emily's around, for example, she'll always say, "Mummy, I help, Mummy, I help." And,
yes,
you know, there's certain projects that with the best will in the world, Emily, no, you can't help. But when it comes to anything using the steamer seam where you've got to cut and stick and draw out and, you know,
they
Tash
can
quite
certainly
often gets
help.
her and Freddie involved, doesn't she? You know.
And the beauty of the steamer seam is because it's repositionable.
Yes.
They can stick it down, and if it's not quite
wait till they're not looking and quickly move it.
it. So now you've got that slash in there. I've just snipped around the curves just to make it easier to pull through. You're just going to push that through to pull it through to the right side. So you're just taking it all through, and at one point you think this is never going to work. This isn't going to happen, but it does. It all goes through, and you pull it through to the right side. And then you use your stiletto or a knitting needle, or very carefully with the points of your scissors, because you don't want to push through where you've just sewn, because you'll have to take it back and reposition it and do it all again. And it's quite again, it's an easy thing to do. It's not overly difficult. Just pushing that now, just pushing the seams, making sure that I've got the points in my leaves and the curves folded out. And you might just want to give those a press as well, just to make them flat. But that makes your leaves, and it gives them a lovely 3D effect, which you're then going to place on your...
Oh, look. Oh, so beautiful.
on your quilt where you want them to be. You can follow the design, or you can have a look at it, and you might want to move some of them to somewhere else if you wish to.
It's always just a suggestion, isn't it?
It's just a suggestion. But what you will do, I would pin those in place, and what Chris suggests is that you then, when you've laid it up, you then sew the vines shapes on. And on the template for the applique, she's actually drawn some, so if you wanted to trace those off and copy them, you could. But it's just really a line down the middle and then a few lines coming off. And she's used that to fix them down, but also to quilt it at the same time, which I thought was a nice element to that.
So the edges then sort of...
So the edges aren't fixed,
yeah,
they'll be loose on there, which gives it another element of...
sort of 3D look.
Sort of 3D look, yeah. So you've got all of your leaves there. I'm just placing them on in a similar fashion to the way that Chris has
Natasha's not going to have time to watch today's show back, is she? Because I am proper thinking we could get away with squirreling this cushion away and taking it home.
Yeah, just keeping it for ourselves.
It's just gorgeous.
And then the blossoms, they're done, as I say, with the little Suffolk puffs. Which again are really pretty, and they're very easy easy to make, and I'm going to show you now how to do those. And again, I traced the template off onto template plastic, just because I'm going to make lots of them, and it was easier than trying to get it through on the you know, just putting the fabric over, which of course you can do. You could do that, no problem.
When you're going to trace lots off as well, though,
yes,
it's just
it does
so
make
much
it easier,
isn't it? Yeah.
So again, I used the my iron away pen. It's just a case of tracing around the circle. And you're going to cut that out on the line. So using your best fabric scissors, sticking the tongue out of the corner of your mouth as you do it.
How did you know, Jane?
To help the concentration. I tend to bite my bottom lip actually when I'm concentrating.
Oh, no.
I pull my bottom lip in and chew it. So that does not good when you're doing a lot of things.
Oh, you saying lips just reminded me. I got told off the one time, didn't I? Oh, you did a really good job, Mum, when you presented the show, but you must remember to put lipstick on. You look like a corpse.
Yes, you can rely on
no
your children.
Lipstick on again today.
You can rely on your children, can't you?
Hope they're not watching.
Especially teenage children.
I know. They won't watch it back. And they're
So you'll cut that out.
Oh, look.
I've got my beautiful metler threads here, so I've got every colour of the rainbow.
We treated Jane to a lovely set of metler, didn't we?
Another grumpy moment. I was like, there's no green in this place. Why have we not got any green thread?
We sold it all, Jane.
I sound like I'm really grumpy, don't I, all the time?
We sold it all, Jane. It all sold.
Yes. So just fold it over, not sort of a bit more than 1/8 of an inch, but not quite a quarter. And I just used my thumb just to fold it over, and I'm going in from what would be the right side, leaving a length of thread and just folding that over. Shall we go close up so that we can really see this?
Can. No problem.
And it's just basically a running stitch. So I'm folding it over, placing my needle in, coming out again. As I say, I've got a length of thread about 2 inches from the back there. So I've come from the back in, and I'm just folding the edge over. It's not going to fold flat because it's a circle, but you don't have to worry about it. Clover make yo-yo makers. They're a nice little gadget to have, and if any of you've got them, it says in the book if you've got a yo-yo maker, you need one that is 1 inch finished.
Okay.
She's written that in. Yeah. Instructions to make 1 inch yo-yos. So if you have got the Clover yo-yo makers and you've got the inch one, they will save you doing this method. But I'm just running folding the edge over and just doing a running stitch. Not a great big one, but not tiny stitches either. And again, this is a lovely thing to do, and you can get your children to help you with this as well, because it doesn't the evenness of the stitches doesn't matter. And they'll enjoy the pulling up of it, because it's quite good fun when you get to pull it up and make it into the Suffolk puff, which is lovely. And it's just, again, it just adds that 3D element to the cushion, which just gives that effect of the blossom flowers, which I think is really pretty. And she's only done a few, but if you really enjoy making them, you can make more and put more flowers on. You know, it's again, it's entirely up to you.
This looks like one of those addictive things to do with your scraps. If you've got those tiny little bits that you think, I can't keep everything, because we do that, don't we?
It's just about a 2.5 inch circle.
How many times have you made a quilt and you've had a few little squares left over, and you just think, well, I'm not going to keep the tiny ones because, you know, I can't keep everything.
I've seen whole quilts made with Suffolk puffs.
Same, beautiful as well.
Absolutely
and
stunning.
Scarves, you know, with little gaps in between where they've hand stitched them together. Beautiful.
Absolutely lovely. So once you've gone all the way around there, you're going to, I'm probably taking bigger stitches than I would do normally, but we'll get it done. You take your needle back to more or less where you went in, so that you've got the two threads, and I just need to do, so you can see my thread. Are we still close up?
Yeah.
You can see my thread there where I went in at the back there, and I've come out more or less next to it. I'll have to go overhead now for this bit. So what I do, the way I do it, is I pop my finger in the middle
Yeah.
of the circle
I'm completely captivated here.
and then pull it up around my finger.
Aha.
So it's more or less in the middle then.
Perfect.
And then I'll just pull the one thread with my needle and I'll just pull that to make the tying off thread short again. So about again, so it goes back to 2 inches. That also helps to gather it up.
Clever.
And then I'll tie it just once, not into a knot. And then I'll pull it again to gather it up as tightly as it'll go. It'll only go so far.
And Jane, if you had got some polyester threads kicking around that you didn't want to, you know, put near your machine and make it cross, you know, some stuff that perhaps we've all got some, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
This would be a good use for that, wouldn't it?
Now, at this point,
look at
if you
that.
wanted to, you could snip the short thread off and you could take your needle through the middle, because there's a hole in the middle. You could take your needle through the middle into the back and you could use that thread then that's attached to then sew
So
that
it's straight on.
onto your applique.
Oh look, it's adorable.
They are so easy to do and quite fun to make them, and quite addictive, because once you start you won't want to stop.
No.
They are lovely.
Brilliant use for your little pieces as well. And
So
you could just
put them-
have a box made up of these and then, you know,
Yeah.
have a really nice crafty afternoon
And then
of
that
just
yellow
creating
one there
something
will
beautiful.
be made into one and go on the end of the
Oh,
into there.
it's just gorgeous.
And you can do French knots for the eyes, or Chris suggests that you use a little bead for the eyes. But you can have fun with your applique stitching on there, which would make it really lovely.
And then once these are fused in place, Jane, is this a case of she recommends a blanket stitch
blanket
around
stitch
the edge?
around the edge.
Now, confession time. Because I did this whole thing the other day, because I've got my NX, haven't I? And I've not had a lot of time to use my NX yet. Basic things, yes. But decorative stitches, I hadn't used yet. And I said to you, I said, with this, I'll just fuse everything on with the steamer seam. And then, well, I probably won't do the blanket stitching. I'm very busy, Well, I thought, no, I'll just do that bit. Oh, well, actually, this is all right. And just a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. And it, you know, it's a lovely thing to sit doing. And it's a simplistic stitch.
A lot of the machines have got the stitches on.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is get a bit of scrap fabric to start with, just so that you can have a go at seeing how it comes. And I've just set that to factory setting, and
where your normal needle position is, you just line that up with the edge of your piece of applique.
That's right.
And then it'll just zip itself in.
What it does, and I don't know if you can see, but it comes to the edge of the foot here. So if you line the edge of your applique up with that gap, there's the gap in your foot there. If you line the edge up with that gap, it's going to come to the edge of your sewing. But if you don't like the length of the gap between, you increase your stitch length, and that will make a wider gap. And if you don't like the length of the shape, you increase the stitch width, and that will make it longer. So you can make it as wide and as deep as you'd like it to be just by adjusting. And this is why I say have a go on a piece of scrap fabric first, and then you can see, I don't know if you can see on here.
I think we can.
I don't know, I should have used a darker thread. It was quite tiny up at the factory setting. Just switched it onto the button stitch, blanket stitch. Then I increased my stitch length, which made the gap between the down bits wider, and then I increased my stitch width, and that made them longer. So it really is, just have a play on a piece of scrappy fabric that you're not worried about, you know, bit of off cut or anything like that, to find the stitch that you're happiest with before you start on your main project.
Perfect.
And you know, just by moving the dials or pressing the buttons up and plussing or minusing, you will be able to decide which one looks best on your machine.
I think there's quite often a concern, isn't there, about messing with your machine?
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
But if you don't like it and you can't remember the settings, what I know a few of my ladies in my sewing classes would do that, is they would make themselves a little book and they'd write next to it what the setting was on their machine for the stitch length.
And then the stitch, yeah.
And it was just done on scrappy bits of calico and then sewn with the seam, but they got it then as a reference, and they knew which one. And it's so easy to do. And if you don't like it and then you can't remember what it was, switch your machine off and switch it on again, because it forgets.
I've done that a few times, and it would just go back to factory setting, won't it?
And you can start all over again.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Don't be frightened to have a play with it.
I can't remember what I've changed it from, but actually, perfect.
Don't be frightened. So it's lovely. That's a lovely little project, and there's some nice elements to try different techniques on there as well.
We thought this was a good one.
Yeah,
show all these different
really
bits and pieces. It's gorgeous, Jane.
It's lovely.
Love it. Thanks, Jane.
And then we've got the borders. So top and bottom first on this one. So she's added top.
Oh, look.
And bottom.
We'll have to go into overhead for this, she says.
And then the two elements at the side. So
that just makes the whole thing.
So that really frames
pop.
it, and you can see how it makes, doesn't it? It just makes the mother bird, that pink and the mother bird there, and the yellows just picked out then in this border, and that's going to look lovely, isn't it? Again, you don't have to make it into a cushion. How lovely would that look on your Easter table?
A stunning table runner, wouldn't it?
Table runner,
absolutely beautiful table runner,
or even a wall hanging.
Yeah. Just lovely.
And you can have fun, you could do some little quilting elements on that too.
As much as they've said for benches, if you look at this, I mean, you can kind of see, you can get the idea that there's a border about the same. Here we go, let's move it across.
There we go.
On a bed,
on the end
that's lovely.
Yeah.
Just in front of your pillows, that is a lovely big cushion.
Absolutely.
I have many cushions on the bed.
Yeah.
And Guy comes up and he sighs, bless him, he takes them all off to get into bed, and then we have to put them all back on again in the morning. One really beautiful statement cushion like that. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
In front of your pillows. Absolutely
really
lovely.
nice.
Yeah, nice idea.
And the cost of something like this, if you were going to buy one with this kind of
with the 3D elements and the extra bits in there.
Yeah.
You'd embroider the feet of the mummy bird on there, as I say, and it's
and that's the beauty of it. And she's got all these guides to tell you where to put your stitching in. It's like on the cushion that I'd done. There was an area, wasn't there?
She gives you complete details. So I didn't mention that on this.
I feel awful putting mine over your beautiful cushion now, but
you've got all the details there for the padded applique and the yo-yos. So everything's there.
But on the page with this cushion, you can see there's an anchor here. And she has a stitch that runs down here and sort of does, windy things, and then attaches in to the anchor.
Yeah, you can just see it on the...
There we go.
On the picture.
Just lovely. Look at that. You can see.
And that's another quilted element. And she's sort of done wispy clouds and things as well, hasn't she?
Lovely wispy clouds. I don't think you can see that. I suppose that's looking like the wind's blowing, isn't it? But you've got twirls that go like this and like this, which... It just adds another element, and she's also just done a wavy stitch through, again, just to give that bit of movement to the waves. But just the most beautiful book, 12 projects, £8.99. I mean...
Yeah, like you say, you could spend that on one pattern, couldn't you?
You really could, Jane, and I frequently do, if I'm honest.
And as we say, there's elements in there that if you didn't want the long cushion, you could use it for bag fronts or smaller cushions. You could break it down.
Genuinely happily pay that for all the templates that's in there.
I was going to say, you've got those two great big sheets of templates, all to size, so there's no worry about, getting it on your copying it and making it 110% bigger or whatever they say sometimes.
Oh, and that's so annoying.
What is that?
I haven't got a photocopier, and even when I have, I've got the fanciest photocopier in the world. You're pressing the percentage thing, and you're like, but is that right still? I'm still not sure.
You take it to your library and the librarian says, the lady that does the enlarging's not here
today. She's not here today. No, she's off for a fortnight. She's gone to Cos or somewhere lovely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Jane. Look at this. Thank you for my beautiful new cushion that's going to come home with it.
All right, you'll have to.
I'm not going to get away with it.
Is Lo there? Because she usually says, "Oh, well, you can send that to me when it's
I haven't
finished."
seen her today.
Yeah.
We've missed her. Mischief, for sure. Patricia is, though. She says, loving the show.
Thank you, Patricia.
And Auntie Lizzie Crangle's here as well. And I don't think she'll mind me saying, she knows her scissors, does Auntie Lizzie?
Yes.
She does. She's professionally knows her scissors.
Yes, because she's an hairdresser.
She has told us such things, yes. And she bought the bent trimmer Inspira scissors on our recommendation.
Yes.
She says they arrived, boy are they sharp,
Yes.
right to the point.
Very much to the point, absolutely perfect, and they're great for applique.
They really are. She said they've got a beautiful snippy sound. There's not many pairs of those left.
No.
And as we say, I like to put things where people can find them. So I will just, let me just see actually, I'm saying all of this. Oh, I think the last ones might have gone actually today.
Oh, that's a shame.
We'll have a peep. If there's a spare little set here and there, I might just
Find
pop them on.
Pop them on.
But the whole range of Inspira scissors, I can say it now actually, because I couldn't say it before, because Mothering Sunday, but I made Natasha's scissor keep for my mum
Yes.
for Mothering Sunday out of some Tilda fabric.
Lovely.
She loved the fabric, but the scissor keep, it's yay shape and it folds over, and it will hold 3 pairs of scissors.
Yes.
So she had a pair of bent trimmers, which would be like your dressmaking scissors, wouldn't they? Your big
Yes,
old shears.
Good standard size ones.
Yeah. I got her the micro tip embroidery, which are lovely. And they've got nice big gaps to put your fingers through as well, which my mum's got arthritis, so have I actually, but arthritis in her fingers, and she struggles sometimes with little embroidery scissors because of the knuckles and things, and it can be quite difficult. They are bigger. And they're brilliant for that. So she had a set of those in there.
Oh, lovely.
And then at the front, she had my absolute favourite that I have everywhere, even in my handbag, which are the Easy Snip. And in the beauty industry, we have something similar. We call them Twizzers. Silly money, but we have them for like even just, brushing eyebrows and just snipping the very ends off, or tiny little work if we're applying decals onto people's nails, things like that.
Yeah.
They are brilliant because they're sprung, so there's absolutely no pressure to squeeze them at all, to snip.
They're really lovely, yeah.
But I have a set on me because you can guarantee there's always a time where you need to cut something off. It's normally that I'm out and about and I go, what's this bit of ribbon that keeps appearing? And I have them in there, I have them in my EPP kit, I have them in my caravan, I have a set next to the table, like a little table next to the sofa. I have them in the little drawer where you keep your M&Ms and your sewing.
Yeah.
I've got them in there just
Brilliant.
for snipping threads. All of the Inspira scissors that I've used, they're so good.
They are. They're fantastic scissors. Such a great bargain.
And my mum had this set on Mothering Sunday in a scissor keep that I've made her, and I've had several messages since saying, I really love this gift. It's a gift I didn't even know I wanted, but I really love it.
A gift that you didn't know that you needed.
No.
They're the best, aren't they?
And she says, and these scissors are so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's
Mrs. Doyle level of smugness. Yeah,
wonderful.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, feel free to have a little rummage around and find some of those as well. But it was it's lovely to see everyone today, wasn't it?
Yes,
You've
lovely.
got a quilt somewhere to show.
Oh yeah,
because
tomorrow's
you're back tomorrow,
made.
Stitchy Witchy Jane, aren't
Yes,
you?
back tomorrow. We've got a
So
Morris
tomorrow-
quilt. Morris stars.
We do. Tomorrow Jane is actually on. She's a figment of your imagination today, as am I. It's Tasha's day today, isn't it?
Yeah.
But tomorrow is actually Jane's day. Look at that.
We'll have 3 colourways of that as well.
Now Inga's having a right old week of it, isn't she?
Yes.
Of saying she's going to take all your things.
Yes.
But this, she really wants this for her cottage.
It'll look beautiful in her cottage.
It really will. She lives in a very little compact and bijou cottage in a very tiny village, surrounded by big hairy cows actually.
Yeah.
And she's fallen in love with this one. I can't wait to see this come together in
It's a
other
very
colours of
simple
Morris as
9-patch block. And then I put a big border on it because I wanted to show off that anemone fabric.
I love a big border.
Yes.
I really do, and I can't wait to see this done. I think this is one of those patterns that you'll go back to time and time again.
Yes,
and
because you'll be able to use it for any fabric.
Well, I love shaggy and Japanese chrysanthemum from Cafe, and like these new Lewis and Irenes. I love these with the hexagons, and sometimes you just need space to showcase a big print, don't you?
Yeah.
And this, Jane, is going to be a new go-to pattern for me. I can just see it.
It's lovely.
I love it. You're a genius, as always.
Thank you.
Oh look, when
I'm going to say the binding on now.
When Nat's away, the mice will play. No one noticed that binding wasn't sewn on.
No.
Not at all. We're amongst friends, and if they did notice, they wouldn't be so
They
rude
wouldn't
as to
say.
mention.
No.
By tomorrow, binding will be on.
It'll be sewn down.
Oh, Auntie Lizzie says she's going to fight Inga for that quilt because they're her colours too. Julia says the quilt is very lovely. Ginny says when Nat's away, the mice will play. Lovely morning and happy show.
Thank you.
Thanks. Lovely to see you all. Pat loves it. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. Ah, and yes, everyone's loving the show, which is nice to hear because, you know, I always feel a little bit of a consolation prize when Natasha's not available.
She says, I'm not going to be
me.
here, you can do the show. And we're like, okay.
I always say,
and we go, what are we going to do, Jen?
Good morning and welcome to Natasha's Not Making because she's not here.
Yes.
So thank you for being with us this morning.
Yes, it's been lovely.
Thank you for being so lovely and complimentary. We hope you enjoy these. I can see there's been a lot of love for the Liberty bundles. You're going to have to cut some more.
Oh, that's all right. We like that.
We haven't got a huge amount of Liberty left, but we'll go and cut what we have. And yes, get them while you can, is what I will say.
Yeah, there's not going to be many, I don't think, because we are literally on the sort of ends of the bolts, aren't we?
And I'm just so pleased that clearly me and my idea of going, but I want a bit of everything to do applique that other people agree.
Yes.
I must have had an idea.
Yes,
there,
a good idea, Jem.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fine. So I can just, console myself when she tells me off the price with the whole...
But we sold loads, it's fine.
I can say, but it was a thing that I needed and people obviously needed it as well. And we've done good in the world, Natasha. And then she'll go, all right then.
Okay.
Yeah, make the use of the free half metre. Just make sure you're spending £50 before you check out your basket. Shop your beautiful Lewis and Irene.
Yes, don't miss out on that because again, they're not very big bolts, are they?
They are small bolts for sure. And those panels always fly out at high speed as well.
Beautiful.
They really do.
Yeah, they're going to make lovely cushions or bag fronts.
Pretty sure we're one of the first places to have this available, so
wonderful.
Enjoy. Lovely to have you with us, and we will see you. You two keep the ship sailing really well. We do.
Yeah, we do. Even make it
My
to
little
sail.
ship sailing. We do. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Natasha's on the craft store. I believe she's on again at 2 o'clock. Have a look. I was creating craft now, isn't it? See, I'm getting it all wrong. Yeah. They've got a timetable online, little programme, haven't they?
A programme of events.
Yeah. So you might see her this afternoon. See her and Jane here tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're
what
back
more
tomorrow.
Can you ask for?
Double
more
shift this week.
Lovely to see you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And if I can press the button, because the machine's doing its own thing again.
Right.
We'll say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.